There's nothing more exciting. News a baby's on the way. All the plans, hopes and dreams of parenthood. But for thousands of Australian couples, those great expectations are tragically dashed. Something goes wrong and the pregnancy fails. The pain and grief are far more common than you might think. A staggering 1 in 4 pregnancies end in miscarriage. And for some, it's a private tragedy that happens over and over again. Why? Well, that's one of medicine's great mysteries. But finally, scientists are hopeful they may have found a way to end the heartbreak. The very first fragile moments of life. Feet, hands, a tiny heartbeat. He's only 12 weeks, but already he carries huge expectations. All the dreams of an expecting couple. How much do you want to have a baby?
Oh, more than anything. More than anything. I want to be a mother, I want to be a mother. It's definitely been quite overwhelming.
But sadly, 1 in 4 pregnancies fails, and in an instant, all those hopes and dreams are gone.
The fantasy or the innocence of pregnancy has been ripped away. We just thought it was something that would progress onwards from our beautiful wedding, and yeah, that was kind of shattered.
Come on, Layla.
Up until 4 weeks ago, Julie and Richie Brooks thought they were going to be parents, until an ultrasound revealed the sad truth.
We just turned up to that thinking, oh, well, we're going to get to see our baby again. Everything is going to be good. There was no problem. And then at the clinic, we could see the baby. It had grown to full size to the day, but there was no heartbeat anymore. So,
and I was lying on the table out of view of the screen, and I just felt this suspension of time where I looked at Richie and I looked at the obstetrician, and I just thought, why are they not speaking?
What did you think was going on?
I think I was very numb and but I had this strong sense inside that something was terribly wrong, and I couldn't say any words. I didn't have the words to come out of my mouth, and I just fell apart.
It was a terrible blow to this newly married couple. This was the second time Julie had miscarried. For the last 2 years, she's lived with grief and the fear she'll never be a mum.
You just see people with their children, or, mothers walking around glowing in different stages of their pregnancy, so it becomes a constant reminder that you've missed out.
It's a fundamental that women take quite reasonably as a given. I am a girl, I should therefore be able to have babies. And when they can't, when they lose a baby, which is what having a miscarriage is, they grieve, and they grieve very deeply and very seriously.
That's the baby's chest.
Obstetrician Professor Michael Bennett has seen a lot of grief in his 40 years of practice. And with the grief comes guilt. So many women unnecessarily blame themselves because they don't know why miscarriage happens. In a third of cases, there are no clear answers. For the rest, it's considered nature's way, a chromosomal problem with the embryo. And with more couples waiting to start a family, those numbers are on the rise.
It's pushing them up. There's no question about that. I think we need to recognise that women are deferring having babies. It's much later in their 30s that they're starting to think about getting pregnant. And in a sense, many of them don't have the time to go away and lose 3 pregnancies.
There's the baby, wriggling about.
So far, so good.
So far, so good. Terrific. Absolutely. This is the furthest you've ever got, and everything is going completely normally.
Melissa Dominguez is 39 years old. She's already had 3 miscarriages, but is now expecting a baby. What stage of pregnancy are you at now?
16 weeks. So.
And you're still not telling people?
No, I will though.
Guess what? You've just told them. Well, you'll have to start shopping for yourself at least soon.
I know.
Won't be able to fit into anything. Melissa's apprehension is understandable. She feels like she's running out of time. This could be her last chance at motherhood. Does any part of you regret not trying sooner?
Yeah, you've got 39-year-old eggs. That's the reality of it. It doesn't matter how much you train or drink juice or take vitamins or sleep well, like that's how old your eggs are, however old you are. That's it. So it does become harder. People don't realise that. I didn't. I used to read and go, oh, I'll be fine, because I stay so healthy in every other aspect, but it, obviously wasn't the case.
Certainly, Julie and Richie Brooks have led a healthy and adventure-filled life, but now as an older couple, they're desperate for kids.
I've definitely had moments because of this journey where I thought, why didn't we start sooner? I think it's completely natural to go down that road. But at the same time, I look at the person I was then and now, and I think I'm more equipped to be a mother now, so...
How biology is mean, isn't it?
It is. It is, really. I'm not going to let this beat me. I'm not going to not realise this dream.
We're definitely not ready to give up. The clock's ticking, we're both 41 years old, so we're determined people and we want to keep going. And, we're down, but we're not out,
But starting young doesn't always protect couples from miscarriage.
I think when we were getting married, it wasn't our big priority to have children, but it was definitely in the future.
A year after getting married, and both in their 20s, Lisa and Jeff Bodie were expecting their first baby. It was the start of a decade of unbelievable heartache. How many miscarriages have you had?
20.
Emotionally, how did you cope?
Oh, there's lots of tears.
I think we're pretty
Always
good
lots of
support
tears.
for each other. When we used to go to the, have a ultrasound, they'd get all excited and say, oh, there's a heartbeat. And we'd sort of be saying, oh, yeah, okay. Because you'd go back the next week and there wouldn't be one.
20 miscarriages. It's hard to imagine anyone going through that much torment. And for many years, Jeff and Lisa confounded the medical profession. What did you think was going on after each loss? Could anybody give you any reason for what was happening?
We had a lot that said, I can't give you an answer. We always said, we're not here for an answer, we're just here for some hope.
Many mysteries remain, but Dr. Gavin Sachs has made a breakthrough that's helping couples like Lisa and Jeff who have multiple miscarriages.
See, this patient has quite a few natural killer cells.
He's leading Australian research into the role of the immune system in miscarriage. We all have what are called natural killer cells. They're the cells that protect us from disease. In pregnant women, they're automatically suppressed to protect the unborn baby. But in some women who repeatedly miscarry, the natural killer cells haven't been turned off. So they see this potential baby as an invader.
As a threat. So there is a conflict, really, between the mother's body having to defend herself and the baby having to establish itself. And that has to reach the right balance for a pregnancy to succeed.
They're early days and Dr. Sachs is pushing for a proper trial. But so far, he says, 40 babies have been born in Sydney after their mothers were given a simple steroid treatment.
We're seeing people who've had 5, 6, 10, 19 successive miscarriages. I mean, what a burden on their lives. You know, I think it's hard for some people who aren't aware of that to appreciate just how their lives would be just completely consumed by this. And, you know, it's our duty to try to find answers for those people.
Do you believe this is a real hope?
I think this is a real hope because it's based on real science, and we're trying to build it step by step. So it's not real yet, but it is real hope.
His greatest success,
How are you, Mother?
helping Lisa and Jeff Bodie, who endured 20 miscarriages, finally complete their family. It took 9 attempts to have their first daughter, Erin. After another 10 miscarriages, they finally met Dr. Sachs, and 9 months after his treatment, baby Tessa was born. At what stage of your pregnancy with your 2 daughters did you say, OK, I'm pregnant, I am going to have a baby?
When they were in our arms. After the labour, after the birth.
Nothing was certain, was it, until they were there and in your arms, I think. And that's probably the most pleasing and rewarding and grateful and magnificent moment.
Go for a walk to the beach.
These families are proof there is hope after miscarriage and have gathered together to urge other couples to never give up. Taking part in a photo shoot to raise money for Bonnie Babes, a charity that helps couples through their grief.
I guess you just have to have faith that there's light at the end of the tunnel, and that, you know, eventually you are going to be able to have children.
I think that, you know, you just have to keep trying and realise that, you know, it does happen even when you're over 40. It does happen, and this is proof that miracles do happen.
That's great. After 3 miscarriages, Melissa Dominguez still believes in miracles. She'd hoped she would have a couple of kids by now.
See the baby's heart beating in the top of the chest?
But she and her husband Andre would be happy with just one, this one.
And at 16 weeks at the moment, this baby's probably somewhere close to 200 grams.
Already it's picture perfect, but they won't let themselves get excited yet.
And the big feet? Who's got big feet?
Not me.
No?
The next 5 months are going to be a long, anxious wait.
Even now I know that something can go wrong. You hear about terrible things going wrong to people all the time, all the way through pregnancy, right up until like 36, 37 weeks. You just don't know what you're going to be dealt with. So I just have to pray and keep my fingers crossed for the future.
Yeah, I think you'll be a great mum.
Thank you.
Hello, I'm Tom Steinfort. Thank you for watching 60 Minutes Australia. Subscribe to our channel now for brand new stories and exclusive clips every week. And don't miss out on our extra minutes segments and full episodes of 60 Minutes, which are on 9now.com.au and the 9Now app.